Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Enchantress Society with yours truly. So, this is a very special episode because of the announcement made in the previous episode about the Enchantress Podcast Network. It is my latest business, my latest project that has finally come full circle. It's something I've been not sitting on, but it was a thought I had a very long time ago. And it wasn't the time yet. And so finally, it was time. And it was just boost to the ground. Me and my team were just getting everything together. So I'm so excited that it's here. Before I dive into what the Enchantress Podcast Network is, how I got started, all that jazz, how you could be part of it, I want to remind you of the 400 episode special bonus that is available. And it'll be available until roughly episode 403. So it is a flash sale of sorts, and there's 3 of my programs that you can get for $77. So I'm going to do a really cool thing, share my screen. So I saw this on, well, not this, but I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast and he was sharing some things to his screen. So I thought, oh my gosh, how cool is that? I have Zoom. Why not just do this every now and then so people can actually see what I'm talking about and then switch it back to my face? So if you go to Tia Marie Johnson / bundle, you'll see the 3 programs that are available: the Sacred Sovereign Sorcery, Activating Your Inner Goddess, and the Confidence Cauldron. So it's valued at $255, and actually the Activating Your Inner Goddess will go up to $100. So really, you are getting $300 worth of course material for $77. Okay. And 7 has been a number I've been receiving and seeing and dreaming about, all that jazz lately. So it just felt right. All right. So the Sacred Sovereign Sorcery is where you will learn the basics of spellcraft and magic, embodying who you desire to be, how to work with the elements, understand what vibrations and frequencies are, and how to shift them to lead that sacred, sovereign, magical life. Module 1 is Enchant, Module 2 is Embody, and Module 3 is Prosper. With the Activating Your Inner Goddess, this was a live masterclass I did, which is now available for you at your own pace to explore. And with this, this is where you go from feeling overwhelmed over it, that guilt from wanting to be free in your own right, all that jazz, to really embodying that goddess that you are meant to be. Okay, so what's interesting about this is with the Sacred Sovereign Sorcery, that's embodying aspects of you, many aspects of you as a whole. And with the Activating Your Inner Goddess, this is focusing on your goddess aspect. Okay, so we don't dive into the goddess aspect in the Sacred Sovereign Sorcery. We do here. So day 1, which will be module 1 in this case now, express yourself. Day 2, the goddess lifestyle, and day 3, the pleasure principle. And with the confidence cauldron, this is focusing on transforming your confidence levels and create a strong foundation of confidence. So one of the symbolic meanings of the cauldron is transformation, because you can cook in your cauldron. So you're really transforming things. So we are transforming confidence. So module 1 is validating yourself. 2 is mindset alchemy, and 3 is protecting your peace and happiness. All right, so you get a lot for $77. All right, so go ahead to tiamariejohnson.com/bundle. All right, I'm going to stop the share. All right, so let's all take a collective deep breath. Lovely. So the Enchantress Podcast Network. This is something I created because what I've been noticing over the years is that, especially with new podcasters who want to just really claim their place in the podcasting world, especially when the podcasters are part of the magical community, they get lumped into the spirituality and religion sections, okay, and their platforms that where it gets distributed. And the thing is, it's hard to find people that way. And you become in a mix with people who are, yes, under spirituality, but it's this particular spirituality, that particular spirituality, and this isn't religion, that's a different thing. So you're just a drop in the bucket, unfortunately. And okay, production is a lot, editing is a lot, being consistent can be a lot. A lot of things are overwhelming, not to mention all the other little things with podcasting. So when I want to support some new podcasters, witchy podcasters, astrologers, and so forth, a lot of times I wouldn't see episodes for a very long time. And I would wonder, is it because they need that support? Because I know when I started, well, it was a little bit different when I started. I just called in and things like that. But over time, it did get to be a lot, which is why I have a team now helping me. And when you are trying to figure this out, especially now, when I started, it was a lot. It was already a bunch of people podcasting. Now it's millions and millions of people podcasting, and you're being lumped with religion. You're being lumped, even if you want to have your podcast listed as education, that's still not the same, because now you have school, elementary education and so forth and different things. So I decided to help those, especially who are part of the magical community, badass women, women plus, whoever wants that assistance with people who get it. Because the third part with that is when people did go to work with certain people, they didn't get where they were coming from. Okay. When sometimes you mix people who aren't on a certain spiritual path and don't get it, it's very hard to relay your message. It's very hard to say, this is what my podcast is about. These are the guests I'm looking to have on, and so forth. It can be a little bit of friction, creative process gets ruined. So I created the Enchantress Podcast Network to help specifically the magical community and the magical curious people who fall under that category, because my team gets it. And in this case too, there will be, or there, it's already there now, it's up and running. On the actual website, we will place people there. So you're going to see their icons pop up. Okay. Different categories listed. So for example, one of the people who I was speaking to, they deal also with astrology and other things. So there's going to be these categories that are much more specific. So your podcast will still be distributed to all the other places. Okay. Like this, I'm on iTunes, I'm on Spotify, YouTube, all that is still going to go to these places. But now people can go to the Enchantress Podcast Network, go to specific categories and find you. And that will drive up your audience, help you with your niche. And by extension, you'll go up, okay, in the categories of whatever it is, even though you're going to be with a lot of other people, but it's going to be more exposure among other things. So I'm going to break down a few things that you can expect in the Enchantress Podcast Network as well. And so those are really the main reasons why I created it. And also, I benefited from podcasting. I've been podcasting for over 10 years now. It's so crazy when I think about it. And I have been able to, well, also with my team, okay, give credit where credit is due, have grown this podcast to be top 5 globally, hundreds of thousands of downloads. I mean, it is just amazing. The connections across the world. I just can't believe it sometimes. I really sit back and think like, whoa, I really just started this podcast with a phone because back then I was on a different platform and I would literally have a phone and it was a side on the dashboard where you can see the chat. I can see the callers. It was crazy. It was a whole process. I used to have a board, or not a board, it was a poster board that I had on my wall where I just read out my intro because I didn't have a particular intro at the time. I was still playing around with a few things. And now here I am, video podcasting. It's crazy. So let's get into a few things here. I'm going to pull up the website. And if you are ready to start a podcast, send me an email, tia@tiamariejohnson.com. If you are someone who's already a podcaster, right? I already spoke to several people. Initially, I went out to a few people who I thought would be interested in this. And one of them actually has their own podcast. Okay. So even if you do have your own podcast, we have a team for you. So that allows you to not worry about editing. If you want guests on your show, you don't have to worry about emailing them. All right. So I just want to make that clear. It is for podcasters who are already familiar with the space. So established podcasters and new podcasters. All right. So just to, again, reiterate, for witches, healers, spiritualists, again, just badass people who just want to claim their space in the podcasting world. Okay, they want to share their knowledge. They want to be entertaining. They want to teach, share their stories. Whatever the case is, we're here to work with you with production, editorial portions, training. So there will also be occasional trainings when you join the Enchantress Podcast Network. All right, there'll be some mixers, virtual mixers, where you get to meet the other hosts, make those connections. Maybe you can go on each other's podcasts or even just give some tips to each other. All right, branding, concepts, and of course, distribution. All right. So there's also a portion where you can be a founding member. So this isn't a membership, okay, but it's a founding member host that you will be. And I created this portion because this is new. Like, well, this platform is new. And those who are willing to take that leap and want to give an extra, a bonus, if you will. So whenever I have my podcast conference, okay, those founding members, you'll get the first dibs to be a speaker. Or if you just want to attend, you'll get a special discount rate for you. If you are someone who's thinking of maybe giving a training because something worked very well for you in your podcast, you can do that as well inside the Enchantress Podcast Network. Because again, podcasting has been so beneficial. I made money through my podcast. I've been able to reach so many people through my podcast. I've been able to connect with people through my podcast who maybe I would not have connected with on a regular basis. So it's helpful in a multitude of ways. And so for you to come aboard on this new business with me as a host in this platform, or in this network rather, I want to give you an extra thank you. So you'll have a founding member badge on your art cover. And again, that's for the lifetime of your podcast when you're with the Enchantress Podcast Network. All right. Should I share this Venn diagram? Well, you can go to the website and see it. I'm going to just talk about it. I'm so excited for this. So as a new podcaster, some of the things you can expect is that all the guesswork will be removed. Okay. And I'll get a little bit more into that. You'll have assistance with your branding. You'll be able to grow your network and learn from experienced podcasters. For someone who's more of a seasoned podcaster, you get to reclaim your time. It is a lot for editing, figuring out distribution, and so forth. You get to expand your network. You get to really focus on your target niche, maybe even expand upon your niche and focus more on your bottom line, because now you have more time to do that as opposed to focusing on so many things at one time. And so combined, there will be 2 initial strategy session calls. So whether you're a new podcaster or a seasoned podcaster, there's going to be an initial call. So once you pick your tier, and there are 3 different tiers for the services you want, you'll receive an intake form, and these are questions to ask. If you're a new podcaster, do you have an idea for a name, or do you know the name you want? The colors. So we really dive deep to understanding what you want to do with your podcast, the theme of your podcast, where you're looking to go, the support you need. And for those seasoned podcasters, we're asking similar questions, but more focusing on how you want to expand, the support you're looking for, and all that jazz. So again, as I mentioned, there'll be trainings, virtual mixers, and guest outreach. So if you want guests on your show, and you're someone like me who's like, oh my gosh, how do I email them? Well, not how do I email them, but what do I say? Do I include this? Do I include that? Does that sound too stuffy and professional? Is that too relaxed? We'll take that all off your hands, okay? So if you were to say, oh, Tia, I would like someone in this particular industry who can talk about this, or someone who could talk about this topic, we will go out to search for guests for you. And then we'll come back to you and say, okay, here are some people who may fit, let us know. Okay, so we don't make the decision for the guest. We will present you with several people who could possibly be a good fit for your podcast. You make that decision and we go out to them. All right. And also, I want to make a note here that you own your podcast. You retain the rights to your podcast. You have creative freedom, okay? The Enchantress Podcast Network has the right for distribution, talking about it, likeliness, and all that jazz. I am not someone who wants to have control over your artwork, your creativity, your art, and so much more. I don't like that. I think that's wrong. We're there to support you. Okay, so that's what you can expect. That support, that breakdown, a lot of the guesswork removed. Okay, oh, the tiers. I knew it was something. I got so excited talking about it. All right, so let's get to the tiers. All right, so the first tier is the sorceress. And don't you just love these names? And that deals with production, branding, promotion. Now, if you want assistance with content creation, that can be done. Templates can be available for you. So I also have someone on my team who can create the images you want for your podcast or reels. And if you just want templates that you can, manipulate on your own, doing your own, that's fine too. That's an add-on and that can be arranged. Then there's the Enchantress tier, that level where it's without video. So it's podcasting without video. That includes production, branding, promotion, content creation assistance, guest outreach, featured on the EPN website. So there'd be your big, beautiful picture, okay, and a little bit of information about you and your podcast. So it'll be one of the first things people see when they go to the website. So that's separate from having your icon on the website. It's you being featured. And also with each new podcast, I do give you a shout out on my podcast. Okay. So I'll tell people, hey, Samantha started her podcast, Samantha with, or blah, blah, blah with Samantha. Check her out. All right. You'll receive a monthly report. So we'll send you your reports from your downloads to the countries that are listening to you and so forth. And then a Enchantress tier with video podcasting. So that includes production, branding, promotion, content creation assistance, guest outreach, featured on the Enchantress Podcast Network website, monthly report, PDF how-to guide, and a 30-minute session with me. So this is outside the 2 initial sessions. You'll get a bonus 30-minute session to go over whatever you want to go over in particular, anything else. All right. So and the different prices. So with the Sorceress, that starts off at $525 a month, and these are in 3-month increments, because this is a way to get the audience to get more familiar with you. We can have better data to understand where the podcast is going, how to support you even more. And also, this will provide a certain level of consistency when people are going to your podcast. So it would be 4 episodes a month. So that's 1 episode a week. And then it'll be 3-month increments. With the Enchantress no video, that's $6.99 a month, and Enchantress with video, that's $7.85 a month of support and all that jazz. And of course, again, you'll be one of the founding host members, and you get those extra bonuses. All right, so that's the Enchantress Podcast Network, and I'm so thrilled. Some of the questions that popped up when I had calls with people who are interested in starting a podcast with the Enchantress Podcast Network are, what about when my episodes go live? So all of that will be broken down in the contract. Once you, through the intake forms, pick your day, and then let's say you want your episodes to go live on Mondays. Okay, so my team will figure out what works for them too. So they may need your episodes by Wednesday or Thursday, the previous week before. So everything is broken down so that way everyone understands what's going on in the contract. There'll be a schedule so that way it's clearly stated your episodes go live on this day. We need your deliverables by this day, and so forth. So things are really expressed. This is why we have our calls beforehand, so we can all get on the same page and help you the most. All right. So between my team for production and images, branding creation, whether you want the reels or images, we are here to work with you. Also, as an add-on, you can have your personal web page. Okay, so if you want a web page where all your episodes are listed there, where people can just go right there and listen to it, and you also want a place for your emails, so people can subscribe to your email. You have your picture, your bio, and it's just you. So if you have something new coming up, you can put that up there. Hey, I have a new freebie. We'll just plug and chug that, boom, and it's your own web page for your podcast. So again, we're all about supporting and helping you to grow your create your podcast, grow your podcast, and expand it in so many ways. Because again, I've benefited a lot from podcasting. I found a way to magnify my voice and also share parts of my life and have these authentic connections and conversations is what I love to do. So especially if you're someone who loves to talk, this is definitely for you. If you're someone who feels like, oh, I always wanted to do that, but I didn't know how to get started, this is for you. Okay. A lot of people have been DMing me in the past. What's the process? How do you do that? And first I was explaining it to them, but then it was just so much more that it was beyond a response in the DMs. Okay. So I am here to help. Okay. And another way I'm doing this is supporting you to be expressive, supporting you to get your voice out there, what you need to say out there, and helping you grow in so many ways, because this also helps with confidence. Okay. This also helps with, again, just bringing in so much into your life. All right. So if you feel like this is for you, you're like, yeah, I want a podcast. This is going to be great. I have the support. I don't have to worry about anything, but really filling out an intake form. All right. Email me. You can just go to enchantress.podcastnetwork.com. Link is in the description of this bio. If you already have emailed me before, email me, say, Tia, I'm interested. We will connect. All right. figure out your needs, get you started. All right. So take advantage also of that bundle, the 3-program bundle, because separately, all right, they will be $100 each. So take advantage of this. And also, I have another surprise coming in a few weeks. All right, so stay tuned. I have so many surprises. All right, the Enchantress Podcast Network was a surprise. The 3 bundles celebrating the 400 episode was a surprise. And I just had to say, when I first started podcasting, I didn't think about the 400th episode. I just wanted to talk and help and heal. I used to have people call in, and I used to talk about dreams and things like that. And I'll get back into dreams and all that jazz. But it's amazing how something can grow beyond what you could imagine. And that's the thing. You really just have to say yes to yourself and let things grow on its own and see where it takes you. Okay, I've rebranded, I've renamed my podcast, but at the core still stayed being me. All right. And so many of you have grown along this journey with me, and I'm so appreciative of that. Believe me when I say it, I am just, my heart melts sometimes, okay, when I think about it. So thank you, everyone across the world who tunes in, who writes to me, who has supported me and all this jazz, because I would not be where I'm at if it wasn't for the support, okay? So many great things have happened, and I want to return a favor and help others and see where it leads them. So I'm going to end it there. I am sending you so many blessings, lots of love. Remember to be kind to yourself. I'm rooting for you. Until next time.